This presentation will cover the basic system navigation and utilization of the Hewlett-Packard Project Van Portfolio system by the end-user community. This presentation should be preceded by the Enterprise Change Management presentation to provide a framework of the scope and objectives of the system and as a prerequisite for any of the Stakeholder Roles presentation in order to maximize the content and utilization of those presentations. This basic navigation will be essential for all process stakeholders with the exception of those users accessing the system only for time entry purposes. Additional information and training materials are available at simplebs.com. This is the out-of-the-box logon page for the application since at least version 6.5 and through version 9.12. Your data access and functional capabilities are set by the system administration staff based on your logon username. The menus and functions you will see vary from the ones in the presentation as these reflect the system administrator's view and capabilities and are all-inclusive. With some basic HTML understanding, the system administrator can convert that basic logon page to an effective communication and reporting vehicle, advising stakeholders of relevant events, providing access to reference and training material, and reporting significant operational metrics and information. When you log on, your default dashboard will be displayed. We will review this in detail and in this presentation cover the procedures for building your own custom dashboard and portlets. The drop-down menus at the top of the form provide access to all of the functions available to you. Your options under each menu would depend on your licenses, demand management, time management, project, program, and/or portfolio management, and the associated access grants. These are set by the managed by the system administrator based on your process stakeholder role. Many of these menus are multi-level, as you can see from the open menu. The search menu enables access to existing information in the various areas of management and would be associated with those licenses as well. The create menus would be utilized for creating new data objects versus accessing existing objects like proposals, projects, and issues. The quickest way to locate a specific request or project is to enter the request ID or name in the quick search box in the upper right-hand corner of all dashboards. The custom dashboard consists of 5 portlets: My Requests, My Tasks, My Timesheets, Project Summary, and Request List. Each portlet is a view into a data table or a set of related tables with some common theme. Each of the open portlets will be refreshed automatically, that is, updated from the current database information, every time you open the dashboard. Let's review the layout. In the upper left corner, there is a drop-down Switch to Page window. This displays and provides access to all of your dashboard views. The one at the top, Home Page, is the default and will be displayed when you log on. If you select another, it will be displayed. Each portlet displays the number of records displayed, as well as the number of records retrieved. You will control both of these numbers based on your edit, configuration, and filters. The primary purpose of the portlet, besides displaying the selected data, is to provide simple access to the underlying data details. Each portlet will have at least one link, blue or underlined or both, typically the request ID or the name, that is hyperlinked to the underlying data object. The Project 30366 can be accessed, assuming you have the appropriate PM license, by clicking on the project ID in the Project Summary portlet. You'll notice the Request List portlet above the Project Summary portlet. A request is a general term that is applied to a set of related data. A proposal is a request type. A project is a different request type. A risk yet another. Each request type has its own set of data elements and form, and its own unique workflow. See the Request and Workflow presentation in the Foundation series for more details. One of the more significant functions of a portlet is the provision to export the displayed data fields for all of the records retrieved into an Excel spreadsheet. This is the easiest and fastest way to get information and data out of the HP-PPM system for analysis, reporting, and work outside of the system. If you click on the column title for most columns included in portlets, the retrieved records will be sorted by that column. Click again and the column will be sorted in the opposite direction. The column with the triangle in the column heading is the currently sorted column. The Maximize Portlet button, top right, and Link, bottom right of the portlet, will open a screen-wide view of the portlet data and will add additional fields of related data to the view. We've added the expected start and expected finish dates as well as the business segment to the dashboard portlet fields. Another way to export the information for non-system users is the Report as PDF icon in the upper right corner of the portlet. You'll notice you have the Export to Excel function in the lower left corner here as well, but now you're getting the additional fields in your export. The Help question icon on any screen will open a custom help screen online that will contain your company's specific help information about the field or section. It can be as detailed as desired to facilitate effective information gathering, utilization, and understanding. The pencil icon in the upper right corner of the portlet, Dashboard and Maximized Views, will lead you to the portlet's setup parameters. Dashboards can also be pushed to your login by the system administrator to provide default role-based dashboards as well. These may or may not be editable by the end user. Any custom dashboard created by yourself will automatically supersede any push dashboards as your default. Let's edit the Project Summary portlet. This is part of the Preferences section of the Project Summary portlet. Each of these fields can be set to constrain, limit, or filter all of the records you can access, i.e. if you were accessing all projects, so that you retrieve only those you are interested in, if you were looking for all of your projects. Some portlets do have limits in terms of the number of records that can be retrieved. If you were looking for all of your projects to start in the next 3 months, you could set the conditions with your project manager name and the start dates. So all filters are conditions. There are no or conditions. So all filters must be passed in order for the records to be included in your portlet. Many of the more complicated portlets require you to set your filters before execution to avoid timeouts and extracting more data than you're allowed to. You can change the title displayed on your portlet, and this is only affecting your view of this portlet, through the Change Title button in the upper right corner. Your projects, high-risk projects, late projects, you can have several versions of the same portlet with different filters, displays, and names in the same dashboard. As we scroll down, we see the balance of the filter preferences. Below that is the default Sort By field. To the right of that is where you can select the number of rows to be displayed in the dashboard portlet in Maximized Views. The fields listed in the Displayed Columns box are those that are displayed in the order listed in the dashboard portlet. Those fields listed in the lower Maximized View box are added to the dashboard fields and displayed in the Maximized View. Those fields listed in the Available Columns box are not displayed and not exported to Excel. You can add all of the fields to the Maximized View box in order to export them, but the Maximized View will be very wide. You move fields between the boxes by selecting the field and then using the arrow keys. Likewise, use the arrow keys to reorder the fields within the individual boxes. Select the Done button to return to your dashboard and refresh the portlet based on your changes. So how do you build your own dashboard in Portlets? From the Dashboard menu, select Personalize Dashboard or click the Personalize icon in the upper right corner. This brings up your personal dashboard workspace. Select the Private Pages folder, which will enable the New Pages icon to the right of the left pointing arrow in the upper left-hand corner. Select New Page. It will be added at the bottom of your list. A page is a dashboard. You can reorder your pages using the up and down arrows. Remember, the one at the top is your default login page. Selecting the existing home page dashboard, it reflects the 5 portlets: My Request, My Tasks, Project Summary, Request List, and My Timesheets. You can reorder your pages by using the up and down arrows. The double-headed arrow icon changes the portlet from a half page width to a full page width. Project Summary with lots of information fields may be used in a dashboard requiring full width. The primary purpose of your My Request portlet may be only to access the request objects, in which case a half size might do fine. You can move the portlets up and down, left or right, by dragging and dropping. You can add new portlets to an existing dashboard or to your new page by selecting the page and then selecting Add Portlets. The Add Portlet buttons, you can select all or by category and review the library of portlets available. There are 60 plus. Or you can enter a specific name you are looking for. The portlet list will be displayed with all of the portlets available and a brief description of each. Select the portlet you wish to add, and then hit the Add button. The portlet will be added to your dashboard in the Edit mode. Any portlet can be added to your dashboard, but if you do not have the appropriate license and access grants, you will not retrieve any data records. Helpful hints. If the portlet ends with the word list, it's a pretty generic and open-ended portlet. If the name starts with my, then it's pre-filtered and you can only get those records associated with your username. Select the Add button and the portlet is added. Edit screen is displayed. This is the same screen we looked at before. We'll review the fields as this is the most important point in this navigation presentation. This is the default request list. Remember that projects, proposals, risk issues are all different request types. This default portlet lists the common fields across all the request types currently enabled. This might include project issues, risk, proposals, non-project work, whatever. So the fields are high level and generic. Review the fields created by, assigned to, priority, department. These are pretty standard and would apply to almost any request. So when you scroll down to select the fields to display, you get the same common fields. Well, if you want a mixed portlet with different request types, that might work fine. But let's narrow the search to a specific request type now. Select the search menu in the request type field, the gray box at the end of the field, to display the enabled request type. Select the PFM proposal in the left frame, which is one of those best practices request workflows that provides a starting point for building your own proposal and is often utilized out of the box in order to get the initial iteration deployed and data flowing as quickly as possible. It will move to the right panel and then select OK. The Advanced Filter button is now enabled. Click the Advanced Filter button. Well, you have restricted your access in this portlet to a single request type, PFM proposal. You have now added all the fields utilized in the request type. Up to 100 fields can be added to the standard template during the configuration and implementation of each request type to fit your company information needs. You now have access to the report and extract every field in your HP-PPM database without any development or support directly from your own personal user interface. While there are many reports available, most are related to the system operation, project summary, or timesheet reporting. Since version 9.12, Business Objects has been added to provide more flexible report generation. From the Create drop-down menu, select the Report element. Your Submit New Report display will list the reports you have most recently run for easy selection. Like the portlets, you can review the reports by category. From the Project Management Group or the Recently Submitted Reports section, select the Project Cost Details report. Like the portlets, the reports use the same format for preferences for filtering, formatting, and sorting your report data for records, depending on the report content. Many will have options to exclude closed requests, and the default is typically yes. So be sure to change that if you are looking for information for closed or canceled requests, or if you are not sure about the status of your specific request. You can schedule reports to run at a future date and repeat on a predetermined cycle. This is extremely helpful for frequently required reports like late timesheets or past due risk to facilitate more effective exception processing. You can also have an email notification sent to a stakeholder to advise them that the report is ready for review, like project status reports. Again, you must have the appropriate license and access grants to recreate the reports. Each email will contain a link back to the detailed report and may contain request data field values as well. Notifications are available throughout the system. Many are configurable by the end users, others require system administration setup. The content and format of notifications are primarily HTML messages. All notifications are stored in the system library. The library maintains a copy providing some version control and audit compliance and is searchable. Each report includes a list to the finished report as well as the parameters submitted for the report. These can be opened, the submission details link visible here, edited, and then resubmitted at any time. The project cost details report sample reflects the capital, operating expense, and total expenditures by project level as reflected in the project financial summary. Thank you for viewing this presentation on the basic navigation dashboards and portlets for the Hewlett-Packard Project and Portfolio Management System. These features have not changed much since version 6.5.